Hi, my name is Michael Villalobos, and my choice for my discourse community was my job that I currently work at, which is at Chick-fil-A Fox Valley as one of the senior leaders at that location. Here's just a nice little video
She
of
made this t-shirt that
what
says
it kind of looks like inside of the Chick-fil-A at Fox Valley. Throwing clothes, doing all the things that no one else would like to do. So we are closing here, locking up the store. Heading out for the day. So to start off the
she made this
presentation,
t-shirt.
more into what exactly a discourse community is. It's a group of people who share common goals, interests, and communication methods. These groups are typically engaged in conversations that are specific towards what the goals are that they share amongst each other. And they'll communicate about different things as to like how they can improve or what they can grow on and things related to that, specifically towards uh, their shared goals in their community. And why exactly I chose this as my discourse community is because I feel like Chick-fil-A, and especially the one that I work at, is a great example of using specific Lexis language and communication in order to focus on shared goals and make sure that service is excellent to our guests. The business itself at Chick-fil-A, amongst all of the stores amongst the region, are pretty much structured the same so that skills and experience can be trained, coached, and passed on to all the other team members, which is something that I really appreciate about Chick-fil-A is the shared teamwork and skills that are always provided to everyone. So looking at some common goals here with our guy here from Chick-fil-A, everyone at Chick-fil-A is trained to focus on the same shared goals whenever they're working on the floor. This just ensures that we're as successful as possible. So here we see providing fast and accurate service. We follow a core four like standard of what our expectations are. Always making sure the guests are attended to, so we call this POP or People Over Polynesian, pretty much beating the guests to the counter, getting them whenever they need, refills, sauces, things like that. And then staying consistent with cleaning, stocking, organizing, and supporting team members. And pretty much having everyone focus on these shared common goals, we're able to focus on what needs to be done for the restaurant so that everyone can stay successful and busy, and we can make sure that guests are feeling positive about how their experience is going when they're at our store. So those are our shared goals amongst each other. And with this, we have our different mechanisms of intercommunication. This is something that we also train on consistently at the store. So here we have our POS screens to take orders on the iPad, walkie-talkies that are used to call in any desserts, ask any questions, or if you need a manager pin for when you're placing a big order. We have a GroupMe application that has different group chats. One is just of the full Fox Valley team. The other one we have is just the leaders, so the managers, and then the other one we have is with just the kitchen staff. We also do have one with just the trainers that I'll get into more later on. We also have our hot schedules application where this is where our schedules are posted weekly, typically on Fridays, just so everyone is aware and stays consistent with what they're working that next week. And then verbal cues that we'll also get into more later, but examples of it are heard, parked for a car in the drive-through. Things like this just demonstrate teamwork, and these are just a bunch of our examples of our different mechanisms of intercommunication at the store. Um, and then looking at how exactly these mechanisms of intercommunication are used to provide information and feedback. So pretty much Chick-fil-A is all about training and coaching the team so that we can all grow and be successful and make sure we're providing guests with what is expected. Leaders and trainers are consistently coaching the team on the floor during shifts, wherever things need to be improved. And then leaders will always coach other leaders if possible, just to make sure that leadership methods and skills are as presented as possible, best presented. Same goes for team members, same goes for trainers. We're all just helping each other out. And then things like messages and tips for areas that need improvement as well are sent to the GroupMe group chats. So like if someone sees something bad during the opening part of the shift, they'll tell that for the close so that they can improve that for the next close. And then all our team members are trained to provide each other with feedback. This is simply how we grow off each other. No one is trying to bring each other down. This is simply so that we can grow off mistakes, improve service, accuracy, speed, and just overall be as successful as possible when we're working on the floor. Now looking at some of the specific genres that we use to help further our goals, we do have a written setup board that's very organized throughout the day. This will show where team members are positioned on the floor, so whether you're going to be outside, bagging, taking orders, doing drinks, etc. Um, Talked about it earlier, but our core 4 service model that focuses on eye contact, presenting a smile, making a connection with the guest, and speaking with enthusiasm just outlines the standards, make sure everyone's following expectations, and we coach on it daily. Every single day it's coached on. We also have a front of house and a drive-through checklist. This is pretty much tasks that need to be done in these different areas. So if you're on front of house taking orders, you'll also be looking at checklist. If you're bagging and drive-through, you'll also be looking at a checklist. This is so that everyone can make sure we're stocking and cleaning throughout the day to eventually get ready for the pre-close so that we're prepared for when we close up the store. Trello is a program that we also use at Chick-fil-A. It's a program for trainers to monitor and track progress of new hires. And then these reports and this program is also shared amongst all leaders and trainers, so we're all involved. And then we have training reports at the end of the day, and then end of day reports for managers that are sent so that we can evaluate progress and then overall outcomes of how the shift went. Now looking at specific Lexus, talked about some of these earlier, but my pleasure is the way that we respond to customers and the team members. Saying heard just acknowledges that you heard that the information that was said. Hi, welcome in is just a nice friendly greeting to guests. Have a wonderful day is a farewell to guests. And then an example of this Lexus is kitchen will call out, we have a minute on strips, and this will let the baggers know that they'll be ready in a minute. So then the baggers will all say heard, so that kitchen knows that we all understand it'll take a minute for the strips to come out. This and everything else for our Lexus is just engraved into the outline of how Chick-fil-A functions. This all makes sure that we're all on the same level of understanding, make sure that we're all consistent, and provide as much of a consistent and positive service for guests. And it pretty much just keeps everyone on the same tracks in pace and everything. Um, Now looking at our levels of expertise, at Chick-fil-A Fox Valley, our experienced trainers and leaders are always there to train and coach our new team members. Typically, a trainer will spend 4 to 6 hours if they're training a new team member on a specific area, simply to make sure that they have the best possible understanding of this area that they're working on. Leaders will coach the entire team during shifts, making sure everyone's present whenever they're needed on the floor. Each tier of leadership and position learns and leans off one another. So on our left here, we have team member. On our very right in the red, we have trainers. And in the middle, we have one of our leaders. And mentorship is really something that's influenced at our Chick-fil-A, especially with our directors who are there to pretty much mentor any leaders that are looking to look up and like grow and improve for their next position at the store. And then our operator and owner is the one that is pretty much looking at the business side of things, making sure everything's in order with that, while also making sure we're following policies and then maintaining positive expectations from our community when it comes to catering, overall experience, donations, just little things like that. We're all leaning off each other in the end. And this is just a quick summary of everything. If you want to take a look at common goals, it's just pretty much as a list of everything that I was talking about prior. And yeah, this is pretty much it. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of the presentations today. Thank you.